Oh yes, I have been looking forward to this one for just the longest time.
Cease your mindless prattling and deliver the Minicons to me at once. Yes.
Die, Joe, boy!
Yep, this will work for me. Look at this. Crispy AF. Look at that head sculpt. That is so sharp. They've done a really good job of hitting a fantastic mix between like show details and original toy details. And I love how they've got like some of the asymmetrical qualities in there, like from his, his different chest plates, his different wrists, even like his different knees. He's lopsided, but it's in a way where you really don't notice until you get into the nitty gritty of it, until you get into the weeds. Man, the Unicron trilogy really was a wild time, wasn't it? What a fantastic reinterpretation of Megatron, who still manages to bring all that big Megatron energy, as opposed to, Optimus Prime, who still essentially just has the one look.
One look? I don't think so!
I really love all the metallic elements that are picked out, and the neon oranges. They could stand to be a little more fluoro than what they are, but he's definitely capturing that Armada energy. Even like when you look at the back of the shoulders, they've put in, the sculpted gimmicky bits, which is nice on the one hand, because you're like, oh yeah, attention to detail, and on the other hand, you're like, man, remember when Transformers were full of gimmicks? So much play value. But now we're about articulation. Which do you prefer? I don't know. Maybe a blend of the two? I don't know. Wouldn't it have been cool if they had done this Megatron potentially as a commander class with full functionality of all these Minicon grabs? But there's no denying this is quite a lot of paint on this bad boy. All over the shop. High vis. Ready to go and do some council work.
We'll be turning off your water mains between 7 and 9. That's AM and PM.
Articulation on this one's interesting. It's what you'd expect, and then also some things you might not expect. So, head is on a ball joint. He can do a good look down, which I feel like is what you really want from any Megatron, particularly Armada Megatron. He's always looking down on people, physically and metaphorically, right? You might expect these pauldrons to rotate, but you'd be wrong. They don't. It's a bit like it was with Laser Convoy. It's the articulation flap. They do move in, but if you move them in too much, you're gonna knock off a horn. Which, one horn off doesn't look too bad. It gives him some Sephiroth energy. Man, watch like no child-owned Megatron in the future come with these pieces attached. So, that was something I really hated on that G2 Prime. I don't mind it as much on Megatron, but I don't think it would have been impossible to have had a split there so that the shoulders actually rotated. That way you could, mount some weaponry there and he could be like, ha ha ha, surprise! But alas. It is a little bit of a bummer how these shoulder pauldrons being fixed means you can't get his arms back too far. It always kind of means he's got slightly uptight body language. Up inside that pauldron you've got a bicep swivel. He's got not too bad an elbow, hand rotation, and to mimic a long lost feature, this hand is in a pinching claw, while this one's a fist, for punching. Grab, punch, grab, punch, punch. The waist swivels and can go all the way around depending on how you like to have this backpack turret positioned. I like it like this. This is how I like to do it. The barrel moves. It's got a pretty good range considering that some Transformers have static barrels. And then this can twist to be, at a right angle, I guess, on this side, and on this side it can come round to a slightly more, jaunty, walking down the highway with my guitar kind of position, which, I don't know, I prefer. I don't know why, I just do. Ratchety universal at the hip, thigh swivel, acceptable knee, pretty decent ankle tilt with my favourite ankle teat feature, a space filler. No shattered illusions here. And then he's got a very cantankerous toe. Come on.
Cocainum.
So, all in all, a reasonably bendy guy. You can get what you need without those shoulders moving, I suppose. It's a little bit disappointing. I really don't think that would have hurt, especially at leader class, to have that added. articulation, they must have known that people were going to be irked by it, right? Surely. At this point, they must know. In terms of accessories, there's not actually a whole lot going on for a later class figure. He's kind of just got this.
That's the canister that had the ooze!
Which I think is a little bloody cheeky, really. Because, you know, you need it to finish the tank. I suppose the idea with it is you can take it, and then if you fold away this hand, you're left with that port, and then you can have a gun hand, but it doesn't look good. It's not a good thing. It's a bad gun hand. I guess if you wanted to, you could maybe count this bit as an accessory. It spins! But it is kind of built in, so maybe you wouldn't. It comes off pretty easy. If we're talking about things that just fall off, then I suppose that gun and his crab hat are accessories, but if you're not, which I wouldn't, then they aren't. You know, he's not without feature, right? So you can do the thing, do the cartoon thing, which, I'll be honest, I don't think was a very cool gimmick. To me, I think, honestly, it was much more of like a incidental. Like, it just so happened that you could do this in the transformation originally, and they were like, you know what, let's call it a feature.
Ah, gun belly of doom. Take this, ba 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 ba. There's no extra firepower added. It's a bit of a shield, but now my arms are encumbered. Ha 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 ha.
And, you know, this time it doesn't even spin all the way around. I guess they were doing their darndest to avoid a million meme pictures of Megatron's Robodong. Which is fine, I get it, right? You don't need a transforming Punisher dealio, really, do you?
No, you don't.
But then really, that's kind of it by way of features, which is, I gotta admit, a little bit of a bummer. Which leads us into
comparison time.
Boom. Check that out. Peep him alongside the original Mega Maniacal dude. I do think that this purple is more show accurate than this purple was. But like size-wise, it's weirdly close. That doesn't often happen when they redo characters nowadays, that they come out this similar size-wise. But straight off the bat, this moves. If it could do it then, there's no reason why it can't do it now. God damn it. Arms. These arms, depending on how you want to look at it, in some ways are actually more articulated. And definitely more gimmick-laden.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Just look at that, would you? How much of the sculpt and detail is carried through across these bad boys? It's a joy to behold, really, honestly. Where the modern one has this guy clearly beat is on the legs, which can only, you know, MC Hammer it.
Stop. Mega time.
And while we're doing comparisons, here he is alongside the recently released Armada Starscream.
Megatron, I have obtained the Star Saber as per your orders.
You failed me for the last time, Starscream.
What are you talking about? Ah, come on!
And for another comparison, here he is with Armada Optimus. Why don't you pick on someone your own size, Megatron?
I tell you this, Prime, you shan't be so cocky once they release Tidal Wave. Yes.
You know what? We're almost getting to a point where you can put yourself together a decent Armada diorama out of new figures. What a wonderful time to be alive. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, this confused piece of garbage exists. God, what a misstep that was. Bad, bad, not good. Alright, let's go ahead and get this Rice-A-Roni Jabroni into vehicle mode, shall we?
Can I stop you though? You keep using this word jabroni, and it's awesome.
Hands in. Shoulders open. Arms up. Shoulders closed. Let's pivot these bits up. These chest pieces, you want to pop them up. So you can clip them onto the underside of the arms to hold that in place. Toes down. Maybe a waist twist for good measure. And I assume these open up. I imagine we got some sideways crab down action. Then the legs will come up, clip on the side, plug into that bit. Same as the other one. Crab him up. We've H-tanked before, right? There's only so many possible variations on the theme. Oh, what? One of his crab hats came out. No one saw that coming. Yep, not much more complicated than the original, really, is it? He really just turtles down, doesn't he? The H-tank is the Transformers equivalent of a tortoise going back into its shell. You can't argue with the results, can you? With this gappy bit here, it does feel as though you've missed something. But you just haven't. It's just how he is, in all of his asymmetrical glory. I will say this for him, the bot can roll. And as a comparison, let's peep him alongside, boom, the real OG. Isn't it crazy how, like, what was not a huge size difference in robot mode has resulted in a colossal vehicle mode size difference? I'd forgotten how imposing Armada Megatron really is as a figure. And can we just talk functionality for a second? Pincers. Mad pincers. So much Minicon functionality, right? You can open this up. Minicon toothy storage bay. Flip him around. Flip that down. You got a Minicon who can drive up. Oh, you got clawed. You got clawed, son. You're done. Game over.
Game over, man. Game over.
You've got this bit. I don't know. An air ramp for deploying Minicons, if you so wish. You've got this cool shpapa. That's shpra. Reverse bear trap dealio, where you can smash all the Minicons you want. Right, I don't have his Minicon. What was it, Leader 1? I didn't get it. Didn't come with this, but, right, Minicon on. And I don't know what this did. Probably something, right? I don't remember, but it feels like something. Sounds? Lights? I couldn't tell you. Maybe something to do with the gun, I don't know. But you know, even that. Pow, 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 spray, fired, springs, fire. It must have done something, right? Sounds? Was it sounds? Even if that didn't. This does. Hey-ya. Oh, it used to launch that once upon a time. Alright, look, this functionality isn't long term, but it was there once upon a time. Ah, do that again. Come on, right? At least give him a Minicon. Lights happen, sounds. No longer, but once upon a time. I don't need electronics, but it really wouldn't have hurt them to throw in Leader 1, right? Come on, if that was his name. Which I think it was, unless it wasn't.
Oh, pardon me, Santos, if that is your real name, Bart Simpson.
So I gotta say, all in all, this figure has some amazing shelf presence, even if its play presence is a little underwhelming. By that, I mean, it would have been nice, given on, you know, he was such a gimmick-laden figure originally, I would have liked just a couple more nods to that gimmickry, like maybe a few more accessories if he'd come with the knife, at least. What I do like is that pretty much port for port, all the Minicon ports are now 5mm ports, so you can, you know, deck him out with Micromasters. That is a nice touch. That I don't mind. I guess I just wanted a knife, right?
You call that a knife? This is a knife.
That's not a knife, that's a spoon.
Thanks so much for watching, my dudes. What do we think? You gonna get him? Have you already got him? I do, because you're watching this video, and I really like him. I have no regrets. The shoulders are a little bit annoying, but it doesn't bug me as much as it did with Laser Prime. It is an odd choice for a leader class figure when you think about, you know, some of the other offerings that we've had with the amount of accessories and articulation and things. I do think they could have done a little bit more with him, but it is still a fantastic update. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed yourself. Let's make this monster grow, right? Let's take the channel into its own super mode. I mean, look at him shine. Look at that, like, you know, one dead eye. That is some amazing Megatron presence. I am really hoping that we get like a Commander class tidal wave to port in on this bad boy. Even though that wasn't the coolest combination in the show, I feel like it always should have had feet with it. Maybe they'll do that this time. Spread it around, make it feel more like a proper armed up mode, because, you know, gun chest and then just big shoulders and encumbered arms does not a super mode make, but I love tidal wave. Anyway, Megatron, get some.